Welcome to the Reality Revolution. I'm your host, Brian Scott, and we have another reading of the Quo material today from a number of different sessions. These are focused around the idea of love as a thought energy and understanding this energy and how to get in tune and access it. The wonderful thing about the Law of One material is this discussion of love and light. LL research is LL, love and light. And it is an actual scientific thing that I believe someday we'll be able to study. Love light is an actual intelligent energy that is unstoppable and can stop the greatest monster, the greatest demons, whatever it is. And it's an actual energy. It's something that I've been starting to work on in certain moments, just sending out love as a thought energy. And I've had huge changes. I've had things come up, and my first instinct was, okay, I'm going to send out love. You know, we say that a lot when you see something sad. I'm sending my love to you, or something similar to that. And I'm saying that there's an actual thing that you can do where you start to really get in tune with your energy centers, and you can send out love, not just a cliche. So this Quo material helps us to understand and refine this. The first question I have comes from a session in 2009, October 20th. Jim Mccarty is reading a letter which says, M writes, I was a Navy SEAL for 24 years and now have been working as a security contractor for the last 6 years in Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and other hotspots throughout the world. I had an experience where I had an overwhelming sensation to send out the thought of love while in a situation where I intuitively knew my group was going to be attacked by Rueckert. The attack was thwarted. After that moment, over the next several years, I began to use the thought energy of love in order to thwart many more attacks and keep the groups I was protecting safe. My question is, how can the information about using the thought energy of love be shared with others so that they can contribute to changing the paradigm of war? Carla channeling says, we are those known to you as the principle of Quo. We greet you in the love and in the light of the one infinite creator in whose service we come to you this evening. Thank you for calling us to your circle of seeking. It is a privilege to be called to your circle, and we are happy to speak with the one known as M on the question of how to share with others the one great original thought of love. As always, before we begin, we would request that all those who listen to or read these words use their discrimination and their discernment in choosing those thoughts with which they would like to work. We ask that you trust your ear as it listens for resonance, and that you leave behind any thought that does not resonate to you. We greatly appreciate you doing this, my friends, for it enables us to share our humble opinions without fearing that we may infringe upon your free will in some way or disturb the rhythm of your spiritual process. We thank you for this consideration. To share that awareness which one has with other selves, when that awareness moves so far from the paradigm used and assumed to be correct by those with whom you would share your awareness, is a challenge, my brother. The first thing that we would share with you is the awareness that there is a substantial distance between the paradigm of a warrior or protector that is enjoyed by those within your armed forces and the paradigm which has become crystal clear to you. The concept of both the entities who are on what they would call our side and those on the other side as being equally valuable is perhaps at the center of the distance between the two paradigms. At a level which is seldom said but often implied, theories of warfare undervalue in a systematic way the entities who are soldiers or who are members in forces which are not part of the national armed forces but who maintain security, as this instrument would say. This is an unspoken acceptance of the fact that the lives of the souls within one's command are not as important as the accomplishment of the mission. When even the entities who are fighting with one are so brutally undervalued, the entire energy that fuels the desire and the intention to form a new paradigm of protection is substantial. There is a second issue which also feeds into there being a challenge for one who wishes to share the awareness of the power of unconditional love. Those within third density on planet Earth at this time are sometimes deeply asleep within the planetary dream. There is often in that sleep little hunger for or awareness of the nature of the mind of the one creator. There is a comfortable numbness which has replaced whatever early yearnings there were for truth. And in that numbness, there's a lack of sensitivity to the need for a relationship with the one infinite creator or the thoughts of the one infinite creator. Lacking a direct apprehension of the love and the light of the one, there is a characteristic dullness of spirit. At the soul level, my brother, each of your brothers and sisters, however deeply asleep they may be, is alike a part of the Godhead principle, a part of that one thought of love. At heart, each and every one of your brothers and sisters with whom you wish to share this awareness is a citizen of eternity. At a level far below consciousness and waking awareness, each of these entities is fully aware that they are one with their brothers and one with the Creator. They are aware at that deep level that the nature of the mind of the Creator is that of love. At the conscious level, many of your brothers and sisters have no belief or faith in the power of love. In itself, this is not a tragedy, for all entities have control over their experience and are doing the will of the Infinite One as they form desires of whatever kind and satisfy those desires. There is no time limit on spiritual evolution. Progress is inevitable. Those who do not awaken to the power of love and begin to desire to serve the Infinite One during the present cycle, which now draws to its close, shall take flesh once again upon another third density planet and experience another great cycle of learning in third density. The challenge before not only you, my brother, but before all those who wish to serve the light at this time is to find oneself able to share in such a powerful way that there is the triggering of what this instrument often calls the snooze alarm function because of what is said by you. And more than that, because of that energy which you carry, which flows through you and out into the world, which is as a lighthouse that others may recognize from afar and into which they may be drawn. That being said, we shall now say that it is certainly not impossible for you to find techniques by which your ideas and the energy which you wish to share may be communicated successfully to those who are ready to be awakened. And there are many, my brother, who are sleeping lightly at this time. The uncertainty of the times creates additional incentives to awaken. Even those who are deeply asleep in their dream of earth have heard the thunder of approaching storms and are uneasy in their slumber and vulnerable. To one who wishes to share the love and the light of the one infinite creator, we would speak of two levels of sharing at this time. The first is intellectual, using the tools of words. This instrument was just looking at a book which you have written, and this is a powerful tool, an instrument that can be handed to any soul, leaving it completely to the discrimination of the one who holds that book, whether or not he shall open it, whether or not he reads it, he shall comprehend it, be persuaded by it, or find it to be a resource in his own awakening. As you know, words can only go so far. No matter how beautifully sentences are wrought, no matter how powerfully stories are told, words compared to that awareness which you have of love are poor indeed. Nevertheless, many entities are at that tipping point right now, where just the right word at the right time shall indeed create the change in consciousness that wakes one up. And having awakened, entities will find that they cannot go back to sleep. However, we are aware that you hope to create a situation in which, without infringing upon the free will of any, you're able to offer a direct apprehension of the power of unconditional love. Gurus choose to retreat from words and sit in silence in order that those who follow them may sit in their train and share the energy of their meditation, in which in full conceptual form knowledge of love lies. Shamans take their students into the wilderness and lead them close to death, that they may lie in their graves, become fully aware of their death, and then rise to become fully aware for the first time of life. Both of these techniques are using essences rather than words to create changes in the consciousness of your students, and have merit and may be considered for those resources that they may offer. as you create your own strategy for aiding entities who wish to learn to become human, that which must be awakened is desire. That desire will be fueled by belief. The reality and the power of your own experience with the Archangel Michael operated beyond the boundaries of space-time. The challenge for you is to make accessible the full impact of your experience in time-space, so that those who of themselves would not believe in the possibility of what you suggest may become convinced in a subjective manner of the reality of your experience. For in order to aid entities in shifting a paradigm in a drastic and final sense, it is necessary to create a hunger for that new paradigm, a genuine desire to investigate the possibility of creating that new paradigm. The nature of your experience is that of becoming aware of the mind of the infinite creator, which is unconditional love. When one says the word love in your culture, it is a flabby, weak word compared to the reality of love. For the love of which you became aware in your experience is the love that created all there is. The one known as Jesus the Christ, in his teaching, often altered people's awareness radically by healing those who were ill, helping the blind to see and the lame to walk. When faced with that which would seem miraculous, the dream of earth falls away, and all things become possible for that entity at that moment. The challenge, therefore, my brother, is to create moments that strip away the torpor of careless unbelief. It can be done by you or by anyone with a keen enough desire. We would ask you to believe with no doubts or hesitations in the validity of that which you wish to do. And we would suggest to any soul who sets out to serve that there may be a constant and unremitting request for aid. That which you have set before you is a task that requires allowing the self to be empty in order that the chalice of flesh that is your earthly temple may be filled with the power of the living Creator each and every day. Let not your intention grow old or stale, but set it anew as each sun arises and as each sun sets. Speak to the daytime and to the nighttime your desire to serve, and know that the nature of your desire is that which this instrument would call magical, using the term as it is used by the white Western magical tradition known to this instrument as white magic. The definition of a magician in this particular discipline is one who develops the art of creating changes in consciousness at will. This is what you hope to be able to teach, the changing of consciousness at will. Were you a priestly nature, you might consider creating a ritual in which the mind of the Creator, that logos of unconditional love, is invoked. However, the challenge there would be to find students who wished to discipline their earthly personalities as you have disciplined your own. It is not an insurmountable challenge, however, it is a substantial one. Know that you do not start from zero, for within the culture in which many of those whom you would teach enjoy life, there is a lip service of Christians, Jews, and Muslims of their belief in one Creator who has created all there is in love. Especially within the Christians among your students, you will find an awareness of the ritual which is entirely magical in nature, of what this instrument would call Holy Eucharist or Communion, where the infinite Creator in the shape of the Christ is poured forth into bread and wine and then into each of those who worships, thereby changing the entire vibration of each of the worshipers. It is in many cases, or should we say in many churches, a watered-down experience, literally and figuratively, yet even in its diluted form, it has the shape of the invocation of love. Consequently, as one who attempts to aid others to become aware of the power of love, it is a help and a resource. It is for you to decide how to approach this facet of your quest. As you continue asking for help, concepts shall come to you. We encourage you to trust them and to allow new ways and thoughts and strategies to roll around within your mind in a way that does not tag them and order them, but instead allows them to roll and to tumble together. For you are asking of yourself that which is illogical and paradoxical. These two elements almost guarantee that you are on the right track, spiritually speaking, but it does mean that you cannot apply the rigors of intellectual order to your creative process. Rather, let the concepts which arise play like puppies, tumbling and rolling and allow rather than force your strategy to unfold. There's a great deal to be said for the power of suggestion, and you will find when you gather a group together, there is a group energy that begins immediately to prevail, since you have an intellectual property upon which you may base those strategies which you employ at a gathering of entities. That intellectual property, that book, those ideas create a filter. Those who filter through the book to you to learn more are ready for a group experience. That is a transcendent one. Know that at such gatherings you have a tremendous arsenal of resources in the unseen realms. There is much power in your own guidance and in the guidance systems of those in a group. Further, there are oversoul energies connected with various entities in that group, depending upon what planetary influences from which they may have originated. Many of those who would be drawn to a gathering you offer shall already be aware of having angelic help. You may call not only Archangel Michael, but also all of the archangels to such gatherings, all in all, my brother, not even mentioning those of the confederation who would be honored to lend their love and their light to any such effort. You have a wonderful group of resources from the unseen realms, and we encourage you to be aware of it, and to use it, and to give thanks for it. We say this even though it is obvious to you, my brother, having had this experience with the one known as Archangel Michael, because until angelic help is requested in space-time, it cannot be offered. Consequently, always ask and thank always that great band of angels who are in their own way warriors for the light. We at this time would ask the one known as M if there is a follow-up to this query before we move on to other questions. M says, can this love energy information also help those with the post-traumatic stress syndrome? We are those of Quo and do not perceive a query, my brother, but would you wish to speak upon the connection between this love energy and those with post-traumatic stress syndrome? M says, yes. We are those of Quo and are glad to do so, my brother. The nature of this syndrome is much like the nature of those who have taken a powerful hallucinogenic that has blown out their electrical system, or as this instrument would say, their energy bodies. As you know, the model of the energy body that we use with this instrument and with our discussions in general is that of a string of energy centers that together create a body that is interpenetrated with physical body during incarnation. To speak generally, my brother, it is an electrical system, and it is prone to surges that blow out part or all of the electrical system so that it becomes dysfunctional. Because of the fact that this particular kind of energy is a time-space energy, it can only be healed by light. The medicaments of your allopathic physicians and their vast panoply of techniques for discussing the laying to rest of experiences that were too horrible for words can ameliorate the energies of distress and chaos. However, they operate only upon the physical body, and it is the energy body which has been damaged. Further, there is an element of spiritual suffering that is not often seen in less traumatic situations. When a healer wishes to aid an entity with such distress, it might be well to have the image of the blown out part of the energy body as a gap in the light, so that one could imagine oneself sewing threads of light back and forth over the hole that has been caused by the trauma, and then weaving light against those woven threads to form a darn in the hole of the sock, shall we say, of the energy body. Those who work with energy, such as Reiki masters, and those who have the gift of touch healing, are often conduits for this light work. Angelic help may be invoked, for angels are wonderful sowers of light and weavers of healing. When the intention is to offer this kind of healing, then there is the possibility of touch and visualization. The work, however, needs to be done in an atmosphere of awareness that those who lay on hands, those that do the visualizations, are not of themselves doing anything but offering a conduit, a channel, if you will, through which light may come. In another session on January 18th, 2020, Kathy asks, quote, thank you. I have a query concerning something I read recently in session 18. In a different context, Ra was mentioning the intelligent energy of the body complex. And my question is to ask you to expand upon what that means, the intelligent energy of the body complex. I understand that many have intentions of healing, or they may pray for the healing of the body complex, or for its balance and improvement in balance, or just in many ways. Recently, I came across a scientific study that studied the effects of meditation upon the body. It discovered that the group that meditated, as opposed to the group that did not meditate, The group that meditated had a significant increase in the length of telomeres, which are caps at the end of each chromosome in our DNA and inside each of our cells that carry the DNA, and that this protects and extends the life of those cells, which extends the life of the body complex. It happened because the meditation experience, the scientists found activated a gene in the body complex that released an enzyme called telomerase, and this enzyme then activated upon the telomeres in the chromosomes to have a healthy benefit, such as I described, to lengthen the telomeres, which helped the cells to live longer and better. And this struck me that meditation can have this effect, and I would like to know more about that, as well as the intention and action taking more healthy substances into the body, food supplements, with the same intention that we may have to help our body complex, as well as our body, mind, and spirit complex. Could you expand upon the intelligent energy of the body complex as it responds to our actions or intake of positive foodstuffs? Quo says, I am Quo and am aware of your query, my sister. This is a query which is not easily answered, for there is much about the body complex that is not yet understood by your scientific community. However, the information which you have shared about the DNA within each portion of the body complex is indeed an accurate portion of the description of how the body complex is sustained by the intelligent energy of the one infinite creator. The body is closely aligned with the mind, being a creation of the mind that allows the mind to move about within your third density illusion, and allows the mind to express itself in a manner that may be helpful in the seeking of the love and the light of the one infinite creator that exists within all of the creations, including the mind, the body, and the spirit. The intelligent energy that enlivens the body is a kind of vivification of the body by the one creator, which has created all that there is within its own beingness. Thus, the mind, as it is able to perceive its unity with the one creator, then is able to function by processing catalyst in the daily round of activities in a manner which comes more and more into a unity with the one creator when successfully accomplished. That is the key, the processing of catalyst. The problems, the doubts, the disharmonies, the continual experience of all that is perceived by the five senses in the daily experience allows the seeker of truth to become able to unify its path of seeking with the love and the light, the love light, the intelligent energy of the one creator. This is the ideal situation. However, as you are aware, the ideal situation does not always exist for each and every conscious spiritual seeker. There will be difficulties and confusions along the path that prohibit a clear perception by the seeker of that which it is experiencing, as there is always some kind of misperception of catalyst that moves through the subconscious mind before being apprehended by the conscious mind. Therefore, the seeker of truth, then, in order to process the catalyst that comes before its notice, must, within the meditative state, examine this catalyst carefully in order to be able to penetrate more deeply into the heart of the nature of the catalyst and the meaning of the self within the incarnation and as programmed before incarnation. Thus, the information which you share concerning meditation being helpful to the DNA encoding within the physical body is quite correct, in that the meditative state provides the environment in which the seeker of truth may examine more clearly that which has become available to it through any of its five senses. Thus, the seeker, then, in the meditative state, may be able to more carefully utilize and process all catalyst, so that there is the maintaining of the health of the mind and the body as they seek the unity with the spirit. However, if there is some misperception or difficulty in processing this catalyst, then oftentimes the catalyst will be given to the body by the subconscious mind in order that the symbolic representation of this catalyst in a form which you may call disease is then hopefully more noticeable to the conscious mind in order that it may then be able to clearly perceive that which was not clearly perceived before. The utilization of foodstuffs that are of a helpful nature in order to fuel the body is a declaration by the conscious mind that the body is valued as an instrument of utilization of the third density experience, so that the mind may be able to partake in a more full sense through the, shall we say, ridding of the body through the illusion. The intake of the helpful foodstuffs is then that means of powering the body in a positive sense so that its abilities are recognized, appreciated, and given the necessary food to clearly fuel the body in a sense of recognizing the needs of the body in whatever manner may be apparent to the conscious mind. Thus, the intelligent energy of the body is the overall fuel, shall we say, the enlivener, the quality that gives the body its essence of vitality, so that it may serve the mind and the spirit in the joint seeking of the one which is in all. In another question, they said, I was hoping that you would elaborate something that Ross said. They're giving exercises to produce an acceleration towards the law of one. And in the first exercise they say, this is the most clearly centered and usable within your illusion complex. The moment contains love. That is the lesson goal of this illusion or density. The exercise is to consciously seek that love in awareness and understanding distortions. The first attempt is the cornerstone. Upon this choosing rests the remainder of the life experience of an entity. The second seeking of love within the moment begins the addition. The third seeking powers the second, the fourth powering or doubling the third. And then a little bit later, they say the conscious statement of self to self of the desire to seek love is so central an act of will that as before, the loss of power due to friction is inconsequential. My question is, it seems to me the central point of that is an attempt to seek love and the intention to seek love, and not necessarily the successful finding of love in every moment. So I'm wondering, is the power that Ra talks about that builds in this attempt, is it necessary to find love for that power to build? Or is it just the attempt that empowers us? I was hoping that you could just elaborate on the difference between the attempt of finding love and the success of finding love. I am Quo, and am aware of your query, my brother. This query has a bearing upon each individual's spiritual path, for within this third density illusion is the task of the seeker of truth to find that love in its essence and in its experience in its daily round of activities. The attempt to find love rather than to be confused with anger or jealousy or disharmony or any other emotion than love is an attempt of purification of the perception of the seeker of truth. This is the foundation stone. This is the direction which has the most meaning for any seeker of truth. The attempt, then, is that which lays the framework for the seeker of truth to move and have its liveliness, shall we say, its vitality that is enhanced by the attempt. Each attempt, each intention will produce some result. Whether it is complete in its entirety of perceiving the love in the moment is of little importance. It is not necessary to be able to perceive the entirety of the love of the moment, for the love of the moment is infinite. It is not usually possible for any third density seeker of truth to be able to perceive the entirety of the infinite love that exists in each moment. However, it is possible to intend to seek that love and to find what is available to one's own abilities and perceptions. Therefore, as you power the seeking of love by the attempt then gains in the momentum, the attention, the quality of purity of the entity so seeking the love in the moment. This type of momentum then gains in its ability to receive or perceive more of that love as you move from moment to moment, gathering further momentum. This is the means by which each seeker of truth may empower its own seeking process. This is necessary in order to realize that the intention is that which is of prime importance for such a journey of seeking. The intention, then, is the motivator of the momentum that builds as the intention continues to be exercised in each moment of experience. This type of seeking is that which continues to purify the mental configuration of the seeker so that its daily seeking of love becomes a kind of meditation, a one-pointed meditation upon that love that is sought in each succeeding moment. This meditative state, then, is that which continues to offer to the seeker an increasing ability to apprehend more and more of that love that is in the moment, realizing that this is an infinite journey of seeking that one is upon. Thus, the intention is all. The results of the intention will continue to grow and grow until the cells of the seeker's body, mind, and spirit are imbued with such resounding love that this type of love then beams as a beacon to all those about such a seeker of truth. The finding, the seeking, the finding, the seeking continues to build a kind of power, then, that is effective in giving inspiration and information to those within the circle of one's being in the third density illusion. Thus, as each seeker of truth within a group such as this is successful in finding that love in the moment, the experience of the entire group is enhanced so that each builds this intention, and the seeking, the finding, the seeking. The finding then becomes a kind of cyclotronic action that has as its continuing result the explosion of love within the moment of each seeker of truth. In another question, Gary asks, Ross says that the first thing that happens in creation is that infinity becomes aware, and this moment or event, so to speak, is one and the same with the first distortion, the law of free will or the law of confusion. Then this free will finds a focus, and that begets the second distortion, or logos or love. It would seem that awareness is more fundamental or prior to love itself. If that is even a sensible thing to say, I would be interested in hearing your exploration of the nature of the relationship between awareness and love at the level of logos. Says, I am, and I'm aware of your query, my brother. The intelligent infinity that can be seen as a total unity is that which is at all times and before any times. This intelligent infinity exists in wholeness, in a completeness, in an entirety of being that needs no other source of experience until there grows within this intelligent infinity a desire to be more than it is, realizing that it is, from any other point of view, infinite and all there is, and yet the desire to be more begins to grow. This desire then manifests itself as a kind of will, a kind of funneling of this desire in a direction that may produce something more than the unity that it is, more in the sense that it is a movement from unity into will, into the wishing to be more. This then produces a power that is seen as a creative principle that can make more than there is, can paradoxically create through the energetic configuration of what you may call love, more than the intelligent infinity that existed before. Realizing that the intelligent infinity is also contained within the free will and the love of the logos, as you may call it. Therefore, the primal logos has as its mission, we shall say, the meeting of the needs or the desire of the intelligent infinity that has been potentiated into that which may be seen as intelligent energy of the logos. This intelligent energy of the logos then moves in more and more intelligent patterns so that it begins to form within its own being a kind of structure or architecture that is potentially able to create an experience of intelligent infinity in what may be seen to be the infinite creation of the primal logos. This type of creation then has as its foundation stone the desire of the creator to know more of itself than intelligent infinity can express. We realize that this terminology is paradoxical at its base, for words cannot give a totally accurate representation of this entire process. Words can but give a shadow reflection, shall we say, of this process. However, this reflection is then utilized by the primal logos to create more and more of itself, more and more of the one infinite creator that exists within itself with the desire to know itself, so that the infinite creation of infinite logi then becomes the framework within which the desire of intelligent infinity to know itself has the means to be expressed and experienced. Therefore, there is within each logos a kind of galactic expression of potentials or possibilities, so that there is an infinity of opportunity for intelligent infinity to be able to know more and more of itself, as the power of love offers this framework of experience. Is there a further query, my brother? Gary says, how do the primal three distortions live within us as mind-body-spirit complexes? Quo says, I am Quo and am aware of your query, my brother. Each entity within each dimension is a logos in miniature. Each entity therefore has within it the crown, shall we say, which rests upon the head of the one infinite creator of the violet ray energy center. Within this entity, the crown of the one infinite creator in all its power and potential then rests, awaiting the moment of love through the energy centers in a fashion that excites the light of each energy center, the light that is reflected in the colors of red through violet, the light that allows a greater and greater expression of intelligent energy or love through each energy center, so that the mind-body-spirit complex is then able, in some fashion, in each moment of its existence, to express a portion of the one infinite creator's desire to know itself. Thus, as the Kundalini rises from one energy center to the next, there is an expansive potential that is released. So so that when catalyst is properly processed, there is an expanding ability of mind-body-spirit complex to perceive and promote this energy outward in a means by which it relates to all other mind-body-spirit complexes that it comes in contact with throughout the life experience. Therefore, the energy centers that are activated allow an expression of love and light to move through and from the entity, beginning at the blue ray energy center, so that the mind-body-spirit complex, or the conscious seeker of truth, is then able to engage in a kind of exchange of energy or information that is potentially able to accelerate the process of evolution, both for itself and for those entities that it comes in contact with, in order to process the illusion's catalyst that is always present for each entity. In another session given in 2010, there's a question asked. Earlier you mentioned not to attempt to serve from the yellow ray center, and I did not understand the context. Would you say it in a different way? We are those of Quo and are aware of your query, my brother. When we speak of loving from the yellow ray energy center, we are speaking of willing oneself to love. The emotions that you are given with your physical body are finite. They can be exhausted and do not encourage the attempt to love and serve from the yellow ray. Let us give you an example, my brother. Say that a healer wishes to heal another who is ill, and the healer has a good deal of personal power, a real gift for healing. The healer can do one of two things. It can work from the yellow ray, or it can work from the green ray. If it works from the yellow ray, it has not engaged the open heart. It has not ascended to the gateway of intelligent infinity to ask for help from spirit. There is simply the decision that that person needs healing, and it's going to be done. And so the healer engages with the one to be healed and perhaps touches that patient and perhaps is even able to reduce or eliminate pain for a given period of time. But the energy of human intent without spirit's aid becomes exhausted after an hour or a day. The comfort that was desired to be given is given, but then it is taken away because the energy is exhausted. Now the one who heals from the green ray empties the self of all but the intent to act as an instrument for the infinite love and the light of the one creator, and it allows itself to be used as an instrument of healing by spirit, which moves through that precious nexus that you represent. That place where infinite energies can come into a finite world. That energy is intelligent. It knows where it needs to go and how it needs to work. There is no need for thought. There is no need for effort. There's only the need to offer oneself as an instrument. Then infinite energy flows through, which is never exhausted. It is the same way, my brother, with love itself. You can school your behavior to imitate loving others, but you cannot force yourself to love others, for you become exhausted. However, if you open your heart against all odds sometimes, against the resistance of the surrounding ambiance, and simply rest in the open heart, love can flow through you on a continuing basis. Then your job simply becomes the reopening of a closed heart, and a heart can close in a heartbeat, shall we say, because there is fear, because there is danger, because there is destruction, because of so many things, whether the problems are with yourself, with others, with your job, with something that irritates you, with something that causes you pain, with suffering that you've had to endure. There are as many ways to close the heart as there are emotions in the human breast, and there are as many ways to open it again as the remembering consciousness can find. But it is not necessary to will the self to be so and so and such and such. It is necessary only to intend to keep the heart open and serve and hold above all that frequency of the infinite love and light of the one infinite creator. One follow-up question, Quo. I'm really touched by what you said, and this question is somewhat close to the boundary of free will, but I want to ask, if one intends to keep the heart open, then is it usual for the spiritual seekers, or anyone perhaps, to then sense or feel, or if there's some sort of inner knowing that one is actually doing it and that the heart is open? I guess I'm asking about either physical sensation or an inner knowing that one is walking on the path. We are those of Quo and are aware of your query, my brother. In a way, what we are suggesting is a great deal like forming a habit. This instrument has read in articles about such things that a habit takes about 3 weeks to make, or perhaps 3 weeks to break. Those 3 weeks seem to be spent in failing to break the habit, wanting not to break the habit, yearning to go back to the old habit and so forth. Yet, if there is the intention to break the habit, and there is a success in refraining from the behavior of the habit, gradually the mind becomes free to think of other things than the habit. The addiction has been downgraded, as the one known as Ken would say, to a preference. And then the mind is free to take up a positive habit, where before there was a habit of which you did not approve. We are not saying that the habit of setting the intention and then allowing peace to overcome one takes 3 weeks to make. But what we are saying is that it is to the patient and determined seeker that the rhythm of life will be given time to work. You see, where you put your energy, where you put your mind is vitally central to your experience. If you begin with an act of faith and say, I think life is this way, and I'm going to live as if it were this way, then you cast yourself into the midair of faith, having no proof of anything but the simple feeling, the knowing that all truly is well, and the universe does make sense. It is not meaningless, and you are not alone. You are loved. You are needed. You are full of purpose, and you simply need to let go of any preconceived notions as to how that works, and simply engage in life to the best of your ability as a conscious seeker that understands the power of choice, the power of desire, the power of intention. The universe will begin to perceive you as joining the dance. You'll begin to get synchronicities back. You'll see repeating numbers. You'll see your totem animal. You'll see the signs that you were thinking is important, and that you were thinking just now is especially important, so ponder it. The universe will begin to help you. You'll feel that feedback, and the more you lean into that, the more you will receive it. So that eventually when someone says, well, why do you believe the way you do? You have almost no ability to explain, because you're an old, experienced hand at working with the game of life now. You understand about choices. You understand about love. You understand about the hall of mirrors in which all things speak to you, people, situations, and things. And you are comfortable at last in this game and enthusiastic to play it. It is not that you have become one who controls your life. It is that you have become one who enjoys the surprises of life, and who knows that even in the darkest hour, there is light and love aplenty for one whose mind is stayed upon the truth of love. Each time your heart beats and sends the blood through your veins, it beats in love. Love is the essence of your being at all levels. Love is the health of your body, the strength of your spirit, the deepener of your emotions. Seek to love, and remember to allow yourself to be loved in return. No push, no pull, but a resting, a contemplation of beauty and a devotion, a thirst and hunger for the Creator's presence in your life. And my brother, you will make that habit, and you will feel comfortable inside your skin at last. Ask for help. You know we are there, and you know many others are as well. We would leave this instrument and this group in the love and the light of the one Creator. We thank you once more for the privilege and the pleasure of sharing our thoughts with you. Adonai, my friends. Adonai Vasu Boragas. And that is a compilation of some different channelings talking about that love energy. We've had another episode where we talked about it. It is the primary subject that Quo talks about. So we're going to definitely come back to this multiple times. And I know that there's a part of your brain that says, oh, it's still kind of cliche and repetitive. Someday, you're going to be able to get a degree in love. You're going to be able to get a doctorate in love energy. They'll probably call it something different because of its nature, but when we look at it in the microscope and truly comprehend and understand this energy, we will know that it's love. We might call it gravity. We might call it an electron, but it is love. It is love. And the word is a good way of helping us to understand the way it works. It brings things together. It creates, which is what love does for us. It beautifies. It vivifies. It awakens. That's what love does. Someday there's going to be an understanding that this is a love energy. And we'll be able to differentiate the love and the light. They'll be different things, but they work the same, very much like gasoline in an automobile. They still need each other to work, right? But there is love and light. The light is the actual fabric of what we're working with. And the love is the thing that gets it going and moving. And so we are made of love and light. I have this intuition, and from this material, that there's a point in time when a civilization truly grasps the law of one. The one original thought. The one original thought is unconditional love, but on a much more vast and complex scale. It's all about the love, but an evolution in an understanding and lesson of love. You know, we're put on this earth and we are given families. We're given love lessons the moment we open our eyes and enter into this incarnation. We have parents to love, brothers and sisters to love, family to love. Then we start to fall in love with people outside of our family. We get married. We have our own kids. We learn lessons every single step of the way, and they're lessons of love. We are in this incarnation as creators, but also as a course or understanding in love. Beyond that, as they say, love is just a feeble word when we talk about love. Love is what created all. So there is an understanding and a growth that's happening as we become aware that this is love that's going on. This energy that we're starting to become aware of is love. But also, it's unique and we have control over it. It empowers our energy bodies and we understand its influence, and we can send this love energy out. And we can bless the planet. You know, I recommend the next time you make love to your partner, beforehand, say a silent prayer and say, I would like this love to be amplified and bless the whole planet. If we all did that, can you imagine the way that the planet would change? If we make every breath a wish to enhance the love on this planet, I believe it'll change. And if you're in a situation as the soldier at the very beginning of this, where he was aware of a rocket attack about to happen, and if you send out love and light, if you send the love out as a thought energy, it will have an effect. It's an amazing, miraculous thing that will have an immediate effect. I'm asking you to try it. Don't just take my word for it. I'm asking you to verify it out there. The next time you have something come up, start sending out love. First of all, you're going to get better and better at it. But there's going to be a point in time where you realize that this is a superpower that we all have. And you can change world events. You can change personal events. You can change the world. If it's done in love, if it's done with love and through love, use this energy, understand how it flows in your life, and you will understand the Creator. So I'd love to get your impressions of these quo readings. It's always so miraculous and powerful. So many linkages from what Quo says to what Neville Goddard says to what Joseph Murphy says to what every single person I talk about on this podcast. They all link perfectly to the fact that we are all God. We are all a part of this one incredible thought that created the universe, and we are all a part of the Creator. We are all the Creator. We created the universe, and we are experiencing these experiences in an individualized body for a temporary period of time, learning lessons of love. It's an amazing, wonderful thing that we're doing. It's so much fun. And to comprehend and contemplate this together with you is a wonderful thing. I'm sending out love to you. I'm going to take a few moments here for a few moments, and I'm going to send out love to everybody. Remember, this podcast is non-local, meaning it's happening within all places in space-time. So when I'm sending it out, you should feel a rush of love coming to you. I hope you feel that love that I've sent. I hope that you see the way it changes your world. And I ask you to send your love to the world around you. All boats rise as the water rises, and we are sending out love, and all of the planet will rise as we send out this love and change the vibration of this planet and change the world. In any case, all episodes of The Reality Revolution can be found at therealityrevolution.com. Check out the Aura program. There's a link in the description. That is where you can get a copy of all the recordings of the Reality Con, where we talked about the law of one and accessing the higher self. I channeled the higher self, and it was an amazing experience with some new meditations. Also, we'll definitely be having a new Reality Con experience here in the near future, where we are going to talk about the new Earth. I'd love to get your ideas on how you use love energy in the comments. I'll definitely be reading. Let's learn together. And welcome to the Reality Revolution.